This program is part of Water's True Cost, an independent journalism project by the Great Lakes News Collaborative, supported in part by the Charles Stewart Mott Foundation. One topic the project covers is the underfunding of systems we expect to deliver clean, safe drinking water. Bridge, Michigan's Kelly House brings us a story, beginning in Benton Harbor, Michigan.
Benton Harbor is a city of about 9,000 people near the mouth of the St. Joseph River. In October of 2021, state officials advised Benton Harbor residents to drink only bottled water because the tap water contained high levels of lead. Kelly House reported on the city's water crisis for Bridge, Michigan.
Benton Harbor is the latest community in our state to face a water crisis that, if you take it back to its beginning, stems from, in many ways, inadequate investment in the water system.
But at the root of the water crisis was a money crisis. Elevated lead levels first showed up in the samples 3 years earlier, in 2018. But solving the problem would take money, and the city didn't have any. Benton Harbor Mayor Marcus Muhammad was elected in 2015. He says the city's been looking for financial help since the problem arose.
We didn't know how much or how, great the depth of the problem was in terms of financially. We just knew we needed money. We started out with $284,000 in 2018, which was a grant from the state. We know that this is not a $284,000 problem.
The city also sought grant money from the EPA and applied for a low-interest loan. But in 2021, as residents waited in line for bottled water, the mayor faced an obvious question.
Why haven't you solved this problem? And I think that out of this story, you're going to find, and when we look across the state, that local governments cannot survive without the help of state and federal government supporting. And at the end of the day, it takes money to solve problems.
But many communities that have more money than Benton Harbor have nevertheless underfunded their water systems for years. Now they're scrambling to head off problems like Benton Harbor had. And like Benton Harbor, they might need financial help.
So what happens here in Benton Harbor is going to project itself throughout the state of Michigan, and from my opinion, throughout this country.
A short drive from Benton Harbor, north along Lake Michigan's shoreline, is South Haven. It's a charming lakefront community, and it's been a popular vacation spot for 100 years. Bill Hunter is the Director of Public Works for the City of South Haven.
We have over 100 miles of water main, and I want to say approximately 60 miles of sewer. We serve over 11,000 people in the system.
The South Haven Area Water Sewer Authority serves several local communities. Its water filtration plant was completed in 2011, but while the plant is relatively new, in many cases, the pipes that carry water to South Haven customers are not.
This is an example of a water main. First water main installed, they made them out of wood. There's some municipalities actually that still had this in the ground in the 80s and in the 90s. So this was actually still used, not in this community.
Can you give me a profile of how old South Haven's water system is?
The age of the system, of course, depends on the community. The oldest system is the city of South Haven. That system ranges anywhere from 1930s to 2000s. The majority of it is in the World War II era, pre-World War II era.
Why hasn't the aging infrastructure buried throughout our communities been replaced? Largely because price hikes are unpopular, so elected officials in South Haven and elsewhere often chose to keep rates low. too low to cover necessary maintenance and replacement costs. It's gone on for decades in part, Hunter thinks, because the water systems we rely on are mostly underground, invisible.
Our infrastructure everything is buried. You don't see it. I call it sight unseen. You could repave a road, people see roads. It's nice, black, everything looks great. Underneath there, the infrastructure is 40 years old. Electrical is another. You can see the electric poles and the lines. Everything is existing, so you up out of the ground so you can see it. Ours is, I like to say, it's kind of buried in the back. Nobody sees it, so not a problem. It's not a problem until the spigot stops working. Then it's a problem, or you can't flush your toilet. And then it's too late.
This is one place where water infrastructure is very visible.
That was supposed to be something to get them by.
It's the South Haven Area Water Sewer Authority's oldest water storage tank.
Let's just stay away from this area.
It was built more than a century ago, and it's still a key part of the system, despite obvious deterioration.
It looks pretty bad. Is this as bad as it looks?
This is as bad as it looks. It's probably worse. I'm not sure what's going on the inside of it. Just watching it buckle out, people ask me, well, how long will it last? It could, if it fails tomorrow, I would not be surprised.
And what happens if it fails?
If this fails, we're not going to meet fire flow demands, plus we're probably going to have boil water. Meaning constantly people are going to have boil water advisory, so they're not going to be able to consume the water. They would be able to wash with it and bathe, but not drink it.
Hunter says concerns about this tank go back around 20 years, but instead of replacing it, officials chose to put a roof on it and add an outer layer of concrete, which is now falling off.
It should have been only something to get you by 5 years, but we've pressed it over 20. Now we're at a critical point to where they make no guarantees. Like I said, it could fail tomorrow and I wouldn't be surprised.
How long does this thing need to last?
This needs to last at least the next, hopefully the next 3 years. We established the new rates, and now I'm in discussion with a bond council to start the bond process to get loans. Once we have the loans, and then we're going to start the process of getting a design together and going out for bids and taking the steps to eliminate this. But 3 years, I would say, easy.
With problems like this literally looming, in 2018, area communities created the Water Authority, hoping its appointed board members would make smart financial decisions. In March of 2022, the board approved 4 years of 4.5% annual rate increases to shore up finances and pay for much-needed maintenance. But is it already too late?
What's the over-under on this lasting 3 years?
I pray that this will last 3 years. That is the best I can do. And this is just a visual of probably what a lot of infrastructure looks like in the ground, except it's elevated. This is a prime example.
The cost of catching up on years of deferred maintenance can be shocking.
What are you looking at in terms of the repair tab that needs to be addressed at some point?
$84 million. Now that plan should be $84 million at 25 years. We can't afford $84 million in 25 years, so I had to create a 40-year plan to make it more affordable. It's not even something the American Water Works Association or the state of Michigan actually recommends. I'm dealing now where I'm pushing things out well past the time they should have been replaced.
In the years to come, towns like Benton Harbor, South Haven, and many other Michigan communities will get financial help from the state and federal governments. Benton Harbor will get $45 million for infrastructure improvements, including the replacement of all the city's lead service lines. According to the city's online dashboard, that project is well on its way to completion. City officials say the job will be finished by spring of 2023. Other cities are hoping for funds to pay for their deferred maintenance. In South Haven, Hunter is grateful but still concerned.
It's great, actually, they're talking about now infrastructure bills. I mean, that is a great thing, and I applaud any of our elected officials for doing that, but it's still, and I don't want to sound, is it enough? No, I don't think, not with the magnitude. I mean, you're talking trillions and trillions of dollars.
In the end, the money needed to keep our water systems running will come from us, either through our water bills or our taxes.
What should be the takeaway lesson from this standpipe that we're looking at today as it relates to the broader questions about our infrastructure?
Well, you can only push things out so far, and how I look at it is you're pushing it out to our grandkids. That's what we're doing. Right now it's benefiting us because we're having lower prices, but eventually our grandkids are going to be reaping the rewards of maybe the highest water costs ever because they're going to have to pay for this.
At Great Lakes Now, we aim to cover the Great Lakes region and the people who live here, like you. Please follow us on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and sign up for our newsletter at greatlakesnow.org.